Hey everybody, I'm Brian Malow, and we are coming to you live from Lindau, Germany, where it's the 7th Lindau Meeting on Economic Sciences. And in addition to 14 Nobel Laureates, we have 330 young economists here. Actually, about 80 of them are viewing online, but the rest of them are here, and I'm speaking to one of them, and I've been wanting to talk to her. We're a few days into the meeting, and I've wanted to talk to her, but I wanted to wait until I saw her give a presentation, because here at the meeting, it's not just about lectures. Each laureate does give a half-hour lecture, and a handful of the 330, actually 60 young economists, had the opportunity to present their research to their peers and to a little panel of Nobel laureates. And so I wanted to speak to our guest before or after she already gave her presentation. See, I'm being clumsy right now, so you can relax because you'll be able to speak better than I will. So I would like to introduce you to Raisa Sherif.
Hello, hi.
And you're at the Max Planck Institute
for Tax Law and Public Finance in Munich.
But you're not from Germany.
I'm not from Germany, although I've been living in Germany for almost 7 years now. I'm originally from Kerala, India, and I went to Chennai for my undergrad, and then 7 years ago moved to Munich for my PhD,
yes.
And now continuing there for my postdoc.
Your postdoc.
Yes.
But you're moving to?
I'm moving to the US. I'm going to be spending a year in University of California, San Diego as a postdoc as well.
Excellent. And you're a behavioral economist. What does that mean, really?
Well, essentially, I study individual behavior, so human behavior, in the context of environment. So the environmental activities that you do you recycle? If you recycle, do you do other environmental things? So that's more or less what I study normally.
Yeah, and as you just sort of indicated, your field of specialty is environmental behaviors.
Yes.
So elaborate on that. What is it that you tell me about the nature of your work?
So,
and also, I didn't even know that, like the natural sciences, that some economists are theorists and some are empiricists or experimentalists.
Yes.
And that's what you are, right?
Yes. What I do is I run field experiments. So I go to different fields and collect data on human behavior. So in the project that I discussed today, I was trying to see, say, imagine you planted a tree or 100 trees or 1,000 trees. Now, would you think that you have done your share towards the environment and drive your polluting car or dispose waste irresponsibly?
And it's all fine because I planted a tree.
You planted like 1,000 trees, right? So you've done your share. Or are you consistent across different environmental behaviors? And this is important because we see a lot of these interventions that's asking people to do more green activities. And we often know the effect of these interventions on the target behavior, but not always on these non-target other behaviors in the same domain. So
What do you mean by that? What's the target behavior?
So for example,
planting the tree?
So imagine that, you see all these policies asking you to recycle or separate your waste. And we know that that will have an effect on separating the waste. But does it affect something like your diet? Because do you think that, now I have to be more pro-environmental? How does it affect my other environmental behaviors? So what I find in this paper is that most of the times, or at least in the context that I study, there is a positive spillover from an intervention to the target behavior as well as non-target behaviors. On top of that, even when the intervention doesn't affect the target behavior, there is a positive spillover on non-target behavior. So we are potentially undercounting the benefits from interventions because of these complementarities in these behaviors.
Yeah, right there. Could you elaborate on, so you do this research, you get this sort of conclusion, and so what's the idea? This should influence policy or something?
A little bit. It will be great if it influences policy, but I'm not so sure if it happens. But it's also important most of the time to study. We often study the effect of policy on target behavior. Sometimes we forget that policies can also affect behaviors which they never thought it could affect. A policy on smoking could affect something completely different. So I try to see these policies and their effects in this larger sense of the word.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun going to the field collecting data. So I
Yeah.
set up recycling centers in Kerala, where with high school students, where they would bring single-use plastic carry bags to recycle. And it was a year and a half in the field with the kids. It was excellent.
So did you always know you wanted to be an economist?
Absolutely not.
No. Did you have
No.
some other plans first?
I wanted to be a physicist for the longest time.
A physicist?
Yeah. But before that, I wanted to be a tattoo artist. But that also did not work out.
A tattoo artist?
Yeah. So this is really the backup of the backup. No, I kid. But it was a series of happy accidents that I got into.
What got you hooked on economics then?
Well, a little bit of it is because I got into this economics program as an undergrad in the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, and then I spent 5 years there. And there I got this excellent opportunity to visit the Max Planck Society for 3 months to see what is going on, how is research done, and that was really cool. But I did not start my PhD. I worked in an investment bank for a year,
Really?
which was also fun. Yeah, but not so fun. So I chose to come
Right.
back to academia and start a PhD.
But that's great. You know, there's a lot of talk in sciences and here at this meeting about being interdisciplinary
Yeah.
stuff. Like, you know, the chemistry meeting here. It's every kind of chemist. So you
Yeah.
have chemists here that are in fields unrelated to yours entirely. And same with here, this is
Absolutely.
economics,
Yeah.
but what you do is not even remotely like what some of the other economists here do.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
you get those insights, and you've been working there, you had a physics background.
I did not really have a physics background.
But
That was
you were
more
interested.
of a pipe dream than
Okay.
an actual
All right.
background. But yeah.
And
But you're right. There are all kinds of economists here. There are theorists, there are empiricists, there are field experimentalists, there are data scientists. So it's an excellent
Yeah.
group of young economists as well as Nobel laureates.
And do you find that these ones that are far outside your field, has it, you know, what's it like to, do you think there's some benefit?
Of course, there's
Yeah.
benefits. It's always easier to talk to people who are in your field because you use
Right.
these
You speak the
jargons
same
and they
language,
get it
yes.
instantly. But sometimes it's also nicer and even a bit more rewarding to talk to people outside your immediate field, because at the end of the day, it's about the quality of your ideas, and everybody should be able to get the quality of your ideas and the meaning
Yeah.
of your research. And I had an excellent time discussing all of these things, not just my research, but also research of the other people, things in general in the last couple of days here.
So let's see, we're a few days into the meeting. We started
Yes.
Tuesday afternoon,
That's
and we had
true.
all day Wednesday, and today's Thursday, and
Yeah.
it's been a full day already.
full day.
Tell me what you think of the meeting so far.
They're excellent. They're
yeah.
excellent. So when I got selected, I thought the meeting is about meeting Nobel laureates, but I've been pleasantly surprised that the meeting is also about meeting other people and other young economists, and that's been very good. I've got
Yes.
to spend a lot of time with most of the people here, and they're all really young and they're pretty much at the
Yes.
same stage in their academic careers, and it's very insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, you know the motto here, which is educate, inspire, connect.
Connect.
And you're doing a lot of connect. What are some of the highlights? I noticed. I know you've met a lot of people here, and
Yeah.
what are some of the highlights?
The panel discussions were really good, so I
Yeah.
have to mention that that's one of the highlights. Of course, the Nobel laureates are really the highlight. It's hard to surpass that, but I do have to say that after dinner, we've been hanging out quite a bit,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of fun. They're all mostly young economists, sometimes also the laureates drop by, but it's been these discussions, and they're very informal, and they've been really cool, and
Yeah.
it's mostly here, which is
Right.
excellent.
We're
And
here in the Insulhalle.
Yeah.
Insel is island and hall.
Yes.
This is the conference center here that was only completed a few years ago. But there's right now there is a lecture going on right over there and there. So this is this foyer area outside where you see a few people are getting some work done or doing something else. But we may still be talking when that lecture ends, and 250 people are going to come out behind us. But this is where we'll have breaks and have some snacks. And but we also, you know, could show, like, we're right behind us. I guess I see it's overexposed, but
That's true.
but out there is the lake, and it's beautiful out, and it's not quite as hot as it was here a couple months ago.
That's true. That's true. The venue is excellent.
Yes.
It's such a nice backdrop for all these interesting conversations that are happening here.
Let me ask you, so some people that might watch this are potentially future attendees
I
of
see,
a
okay.
Lindau meeting.
Yeah.
So let me ask you how you first heard about the meeting.
So I heard about the meeting when my PhD supervisor sent around an email to all of his PhD students asking, this is an opportunity, would you like to consider applying? But I have heard that the system is different, so there are nominating institutions across the world who would nominate candidates, and then so I guess there's a pre-selection round at the institution level, and then another selection by the committee here. So I got nominated from the Max Planck Society, and then I am not so sure what happened after that. I think they must have decided to have me here.
Well, what was it like? Tell me about finding out that you got accepted.
It was very cool, although I do have to say that I was selected in 2020. So this is 2 years late that I'm here. I was already supposed to be here when I was a PhD student, but they organized a lot of other events like the Sciathon, like online science days, etc. But when I heard about it, I was very excited. It's been on my calendar for almost 3 years now.
Well, that's right. Thanks for reminding me, because so the Lindau meetings in the natural sciences have been going on for 71 years. The economics meeting was just added about 18 years ago. This is the 7th one. It only happens every 3 years, but because of the pandemic, it's been 5 years since an in-person meeting like this in economics. But that you remind me, this is how we met.
This is how we met, yeah.
Is that when the pandemic hit in 2020, there were a lot of virtual events, and that's what you were saying. You took part in the Sciathon, and I was involved in a lot of that stuff.
Yes.
And so you recognized me from
from
us
the
having
online
interacted.
meeting,
Let's talk about that. The Sciathon. Since we couldn't have an in-person meeting that year, one of the things they planned was this Sciathon, like a hackathon. And they put together, I don't remember how many teams that were composed of, you were an economist, but you were on a team with
other
physicists, chemists.
yes.
It was a mix. And then there were various problems that they had 48 hours to work on a solution for. And it just so happens that your team was one, and then it was a competition, and your team was one of the really successful ones. So successful that Lindau got behind in it and funded. Some of those were just for the 48 hours and the fun of doing it, but a few of those have legs and have gone beyond that. So you were involved in a project called the Mentoring Hub, which now Lindau is supporting. So what is the Mentoring Hub?
So this was a project that we did. There were 10 of us, and we all got together in the summer of 2020. And the prompt that we were given was that address one of the major issues in science and academia, and lack of mentorship is in some ways a major challenge. Not everybody gets the right advice or the right person to talk to, and most of the time this access to information is very critical in your career and success. So we got together and we thought of this platform. This was our group leader's idea, Michael's, the platform to put together mentors and mentees. So it's LinkedIn but for science, and you can have interactions. You could have peer-to-peer mentoring, or you could mentor someone really junior to you, or get mentored from someone senior to you, etc.
So someone can sign up because they want a mentor, or someone can sign up if they want to be a mentor.
Yes.
Right now, it's limited to the vast Lindau alumni network, but it's likely that it'll be expanded later. So for right now, anyone in the Lindau network could get involved in this.
Alumni or current applicants, future applicants as well. Once you're selected, you could be part of the platform and get mentored or be a mentor to someone else. So the good thing was that this was supposed to be a competition, and then you're a winner and you're done. But the foundation, as well as I think Dieter Schwartz Foundation, they were both very excited, and we got the funding, and I'm very happy now that the platform is online, and you should check it out.
Well, that's excellent. The thing is, it totally fits the mission of the Lindau meetings. The Lindau meetings are largely about mentorship. That's why there's a group of Nobel laureates here and a huge group of younger scientists or economists, and it is about being mentored. And the laureates that come, some come year after year, and it's very much because they care about. They're here to mentor the next generation.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So you were one of 60 young economists. That's the parlance. I'm not just calling her that. That's what we call the attendees here. Until Saturday, when you're no longer a young economist
What
in
do
the
you
parlance, you become an alumni.
Oh, I
an
see.
alumna,
As
an
a
alumni,
graduate.
part of the. You become part of the alumni network,
Okay.
and hopefully you'll be active and
I hope so
participate.
too.
So, did you have a mentor? Did you have coming up?
I've had people who were instrumental in my career at different points of time, but one of the things that I've noticed is that I've never had, well, till I started my undergrad, I had never met a scientist.
Yeah.
Not just a scientist who looks like me, but I've never met a scientist. I had no idea what this meant. And then throughout the careers, it's very hard to find mentors, especially if you are, you know, a minority, and then the profession on average do not look like you. So, which was also one of the reasons why I signed up for the Mentor Hub as a project to work on, because it's something that I care about. And
That's nice. So that can be a barrier to entry to
Yes.
any kind of field, but it
Yes.
didn't stop you. It didn't stop. You didn't let that stop you.
But I think I got here a series of accidents,
Yeah.
one after the other.
Yeah.
This was unplanned.
So can I ask you? So a little bit about economics. Are there any? What are some issues in economics today that you think are important? And I guess I would tie that to like wondering what you wish more people understood. Maybe these are different questions.
Well, I think the most common economic issues that people talk about are unemployment, inflation, etc., that have very solid consequences. But perhaps can I rephrase the question a little bit to some underappreciated or
Yes. Yeah,
and
sure.
something that's a
Or
little
maybe
bit-
to behavioral economics or even environmental. Something
yeah,
more
so I
that
wanted
you-
to say a
yes.
little bit of like climate change could
Yes.
be a potential major economic issue. It's not just, of course, it's
a
pervasive,
science issue.
It's a science issue. It's going to affect everybody's lives, but it's something that has severe economic consequences as well in terms of livelihoods that are affected, homes and weather conditions that affect crops.
Displacement
etc.
of large populations,
groups, like
maybe.
migrations in the future, etc.
Droughts.
Droughts, yes. So it's something which is not which has huge economic consequences as well, and I wish that we had paid a little bit more attention to climate change as a severe future potential economic problem.
Yeah. And so what about the laureates? We've seen some lectures, and any highlights? Have you been interacting with any of the laureates yet?
I had the excellent opportunity.
Wait, you gave? Yes, exactly. You go ahead.
I had this excellent opportunity to present in front of Richard Taylor and Joe Stiglitz. Both of them were excellent and gave really good comments, and it was almost surreal to present.
Yeah, the 60 of the young attendees have the opportunity this week to do a 6-minute talk, which is tough to sum up your research in 6 minutes, but you did a very good job.
Thank you so much.
And in the front row are 2 or 3 Nobel laureates there to pass judgment. but actually, honestly, what they're there to do is ask questions and give feedback. Sometimes asking perceptive questions that to some that go, oh wow, like no, we didn't think of that, or I did think of that, I just didn't fit it in my 6 minutes. But
but
yeah,
it was
you gave a
also-
great talk, and then tell me about that interaction with
It
the
was
with
quite
the laureates.
nice. I did not feel judged at all. It was a very pleasant exchange. It did not feel like there was such a power hierarchy difference between a Nobel laureate and a young economist in the profession, right? It was such a friendly, collegial discussion that followed. I only wish there was more time for it.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun.
Is there anything coming up? We still have 2 full days tonight and 2 full days of the meeting. Is there anything you're looking forward to? Or maybe you haven't had a chance to look ahead because it's a pretty intense schedule
It's pretty
here.
intense, to be honest. We started some days at 7 in the morning and then go on till dinner
the evening,
and reception,
and then we go
then socialize, have informal parties organized,
Yeah.
etc. Yeah, but I'm very much looking forward to the next gen presentations tomorrow as well, because not just it's also such an excellent representation of 60 or 59 other young people and their work. So it's more like you get a very brief introduction into somebody's work for 5 to 6 minutes, and then you have all the opportunity to go back to them and say that, oh, I saw your talk and it was excellent. Can we discuss a little bit more?
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to tomorrow's next gen talks as well.
So if you had a parting bit of advice or something you wanted the people to know specifically about in your field about environmental science or behaviors, what's one thing you would want to tell people?
Oh, that's really hard.
I should have told you that before,
Yeah,
but
that's really hard. I usually refrain from giving advice in general, but maybe I can say that it's an interesting topic to study, and it's potentially a very important topic to study, and it's also fun. So I would encourage more people to take it up.
Yeah.
But no advice.
Well, thanks for fitting this in, because it is it's tough when you like want to be in. There's a lecture going on.
There's a lecture going on.
Yeah, this one's virtual, so it's less riveting because it's coming up. But they do a good job of.
They do a
But
very
actually,
good
the
job of
virtual
integrating.
presentations have been great so far.
Yeah, it's been
But there's something, of course, compelling about being in the room together.
That is true.
Which is
That is
why
true.
it's so exciting after 5 years to finally have another in-person meeting.
absolutely.
So, Raisa, thank you very much.
Thank you so
and
much,
good luck.
Brian.
I hope you enjoy the rest of the meeting, and I know you will.
Thank you. I hope
And-
you enjoy it too.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll have some more live interviews coming from Lindau, Germany.